So a lot of times we need to count information that's found within our list and display that within a Power App. But there are some advantages and disadvantages to displaying that using Power Apps or using a flow to display that information. So let's go ahead and dive right into this video where we're going to talk about the differences between a couple of these count type of processes. Now you can look on my YouTube channel as well and search for count, and you'll see I have several videos on setting up counts. But let's go ahead and go through this, and really we're going to focus today on how we can do this within Flow as well. So stay tuned. So adding information to your application, numbers for example, can be very powerful. It can enable you as you're just trying to get a quick snapshot of how things are going, progress, things of that nature. It's great to be able to do counts of certain things. And what you see here on the screen is I'm counting, but I'm putting in a bunch of parameters in which I want it to count, right? So I'm kind of doing all of this. Now we're not going to go through building this filter today in this video. This is actually in another video, but I just wanted to show you just briefly here that there is a way using count rows, and you can get, as you can see, very creative on what that looks like. And then this ampersand with the quote space tasks end quote is kind of puts it in the text right there, 0 space tasks, things of that nature. So that's one way to do it. But what we're going to do is actually walk through how to do this inside of Power Automate. So the first thing you want to do is create a, let's go ahead and just move this doc over here, where I've done some screenshots along the way to kind of help with this process. All right. So the first thing that you want to do is create a instant flow. And remember, within Power Apps, let me pull this out here. Within Power Automate, when you go here to Power Automate, you know, it's always easier when you're, where is it? There it is. All right, so you open up Power Automate, and what you're going to do here is just create a new flow. So, which is what we have going on here. So this is an instant flow. So hopefully that has cooperated with us. There you go. So we're just going to click on here, create, and then it's right here, instant flow, and we end up here. Then, and of course, pause the video as I go along so that you can take screenshots or just follow along with these instructions. The first thing you want to do is, you know, create the instant flow, which we talked about. Give it a name. I named mine count list. And we want to select the Power Apps trigger because we're going to actually integrate this eventually into Power Apps. We're not going to talk about that in this video. It'll be in the next video, but it's going to go there. So we're going to do that. Now you could do any type of trigger that you want. And then here we're just going to hit create. All right, pretty easy. Then we're going to do our first action, which is going to be a get items. So we need to go over to the flow itself. And remember, we're just going to click on new step here. And we're just going to type in get items. So all of these, this is what you search for, right? Okay, right here, initialize variable, respond to a Power Up flow. So that's what we do. So I'll just give you one example of that so we don't have to do this every time. So get items, we just type that in and there it is, right? All right. So inside of our get items, it's pretty easy. We just go ahead and select where the list is. Now in this case, the list happens to be right here. Okay, I know where the list is, and these are the two things that I have inside of my list. All right. So here you go, site address, and I selected the list. Pretty easy. And I always, by default, just put top count 1,000. You don't have to do that, by the way, but if you do not put a top count in there, you'll the flow checker will come up and give you a warning. So I just put it in there because I don't want to get that warning. The next thing we want to do, so that's this right here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I didn't put the 1,000 thing on there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to initialize a variable. And for this, you will want to probably pause your video and you want to type in or capture this right here, this code. And I'll try to remember this in the body of this video, but sometimes I forget. So there it is right there, exactly like you see it. And we're going to go through how to do that. But we're going to put in a name. I named mine row count. It can be anything. It has to be an integer, though, for the type. And then the value has to be this. Now, I'm doing the value built within the initialized variable. You could, I guess, create initialize a variable and then set the variable, but you can do it all in one step. So that's what I prefer to do, and that's what I've done. So here, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So that's what it looks like in real life. Now, remember to type this in right here, this information. To type that in, we're going to click in this space. That wouldn't be there. I'll just do it. So you're going to click in that space, all right? And let's just copy this so I don't have to redo it. Okay, you're just going to click in that space. You're going to hit expression. And then right there where it says FX, you're just going to type in that code and hit OK. That's it. Okay? So that's the next thing that you do. So that's pretty easy, right? Here, we're going to type in respond. So this is the name of the next step right here. Respond to a Power App or flow, okay? Because this is we're going to pass this parameter right here inside of our Power App itself. And we're going to basically we're going to remember what this is right here, run row count. And so when the Power App comes up, it's just going to automatically run that row count for us. All right, well, you know what? We'll throw it in as a bonus to this video. So that's what we're doing there. But let's get this first, and then we'll play with the other. So here you go. We've got this. Everything seems to be set up the way we want it to. Let's go ahead and save our changes, and let's go ahead and run a test real quick. Now notice here I am not using New Designer. You can use New Designer. It's just most of the people are still on the old Designer, so I kind of use it too. All right, so let's go ahead and run the test. We're going to hit manual there, test, and we're going to go ahead and run it there, run the flow, and then done. Great. So of course it ran successfully. Not of course, because sometimes it doesn't, but here we go. And the value that we're looking for right there is 2. So it did the row count. Now we can't see, if you look here at the get items, you can show the inputs and the outputs. So let's just say we want to do the outputs. You can see here, well, we'd have to use a different tool to look at that. It's not that important. If we look at the inputs, can't really see a whole lot from there except that it went to the site. But this number right here, we know that the value is working. So let's go ahead and that's great. So that's good. So let's go ahead and run that test one more time. Whoops. And we'll just change this here, and we'll put sample 3 and make sure that it's working. So it should dynamically count every single time. That's what the plan is here. Okay. So let's go ahead and run, and we'll do it the same way, and we'll see what happens. We'll run the flow and hit done. There it is. It succeeded. We're just going to drill into it. We can just click there. And now when we look at our total count, oh, it opened it up. That's not what we wanted. When we go in, all runs. All right. Okay. I don't know why it keeps opening it up, but total count. Let's go ahead and go down there. It tells us it's exceeded, and there you go. You see the value is set to 3. So we're good. We're golden. So that's how you do that. Basically, create a count. Now, in the next video, we're going to go ahead, because this one's running a little long, we're going to go ahead and move this data directly into Power Apps. So stay tuned and view that other video as soon as it comes out. Thanks for listening.